Speaking of,
Anything
well,
you're thinking about with the more with the second story about the shooting match? I thought there's a lot of nice descriptions of yeah, of the whole area, the people there. Yeah, anything else you wanted to add about that?
I was quite amused that Robin Hood showed up in Scarlet. I thought that was like it's because red and green are opposite colors, right? So
Oh,
like,
right. Yeah.
it's like he's showing up as like I'm as not green as I can be, guys. So it's this like trickster play of the opposites of like, well, red is green and green is red. So here I am showing up in my green, but it's red and you don't understand because you're not
Right.
smart enough to see the relationship there. And it just felt like such a archetypal trickster energy moment of like showing up in the exact different color as a
Yeah.
costume when
Yeah.
like he's still all in one color and it's still all like yeah, it's he's pointing to green by being as not green as he can be.
That's
And
funny. Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
for someone with a more subtle mind, they might pick up on that. He's testing you.
Exactly. Exactly. Sort of look, I can announce myself and you won't even notice.
Does it say
Uh
that?
no, but
Oh,
that's the
oh.
vibe. That's the vibe. That's the vibe.
Okay, okay.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just checking my notes to see if there was anything else. Um,
Yeah, he doesn't want to completely hide. I mean, we can talk about his pride too. I think he does have pride there and
yeah, in fact, that was kind of the end of my notes for that particular chapter. Was he so Robin Hood's there and the sheriff comes up and is like doesn't recognize him as Robin Hood consciously, and he's
mhm.
like, oh well, tattered stranger, you have won. Congratulations. You're the best archer in the land, and you're clearly better than that coward Robin Hood, who didn't even bother showing up today. Which it doesn't say that the sheriff is doing this on purpose, but if the sheriff did suspect that this guy might be Robin Hood, he could be trying to get a rise out of him.
Yeah.
Oh, this will piss him off.
Yeah.
And instead, Robin Hood does something in that moment to make the sheriff angry. And so then the sheriff is overcome by his emotions and
Right.
loses any kind of suspicion he might have of Robin Hood. So he sort
Yeah.
of redirects that back by being like, "No, I don't want to work for you. I don't work for any man. Like,
Yeah.
screw you. Why would I want to work for you, sheriff?" And the sheriff, how dare you not want to work for me? I'm the sheriff, right? So that sort of deflects the sheriff at that point. But then, if you're just following along in the story, like the way the story is written, um, we have the sheriff back at home, feasting with his men, and Robin Hood is in the forest, and Robin Hood has this moment of pride of like, I can't let that go. I can't let that go. And Little John's like, don't worry, I'll take care of it for you. So Robin Hood kind of gives into his pride, his sort of inability to just sit with the situation, his need to prove himself.
Mhm.
And immediately after that, we have the sheriff being like, huh, now that guy in the tattered clothes, there was something about him. So you see the idea in the sheriff's mind start coming back up into consciousness of, oh, maybe that was Robin Hood. And
Mm.
it's almost like Robin Hood, like if you're if you look at it as like as wizards or like magic or something, like sheriff's trying to wrap these words around Robin Hood to get him to confess, like, oh, Robin Hood's such a coward. You're clearly better than him. And
Mm.
if you're Robin Hood, you're going to get mad at me, right? And
Mm.
then Robin Hood like turns the spell around and puts it on the sheriff and has the sheriff behave in the way that Robin Hood wants him to behave. So you're not going to overpower me, my emotions. I'm going to overpower you with your emotions. But
Mm.
then later, Robin Hood's sort of grip on that position slips, and he's like, "No, now I am getting overpowered by those emotions later." And as he gives up his control, then the sheriff's information, the knowledge that the sheriff has, starts to rise up into his consciousness. So the thing that Robin Hood blocked
Mm.
becomes unblocked and starts coming back up, but it doesn't matter anymore because he's gotten away and he wants the sheriff to find out. So he kind of
Mm.
he it doesn't impact him because he was able to kind of control his passions until he got to a point where they weren't going to impact him.
Yeah.
But it was really neat. I really liked seeing that sort of like the clarity rising in the sheriff and then being blocked, and then Robin Hood sort of you're giving into his pride, and the sheriff sort of having the information come back. I thought that was a nice little like little bit of a loop
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah, it's good structure in the narrative.